Last episode, we covered our underwater highlights during our time in Tonga.
Thanks, Brom.
This episode, we share some of the downsides to living in Tonga. It's not all spearing big fish and swimming with whales. Above water is what a lot of people have been asking about. They want to know what it's like to live there, particularly as a foreigner, or what's commonly referred to as a palangi.
Palangi. Island times, can be really hard to get used to, especially coming from Australia, from
Highly
Sydney,
strung
one of the
city
biggest cities in Australia. Where things happen on time, everything's organised, and people don't have much time for you. To go there and expect to meet someone at some place at this time, and they don't show up for a few hours or a few days. It definitely, if you fight it, it can be very frustrating. But if you just learn to embrace it and go with it, it's definitely a very relaxing way of life and a lot of good fun.
Above water, I think that the thing I'll miss the most is riding to work. Like every day I was riding my bike. The city's dead flat, so you can just ride everywhere. We do our shopping, ride to work, rain, hail or shine. The downside of that were the dogs. Like there were so many dogs there, and you learn after a while what streets not to go down, because I had a few close calls there where I had like 10 dogs chasing me, and you lift your legs up so they can't bite you, but then you lose your speed, so you start slowing down. You're like, oh no, they're gonna get me. But it's really common. Like we'll carry rocks in our baskets. You gotta
leave the house with full ammo.
Arsenal. Get used to like throwing rocks at dogs pretty quick. You're not hitting them, but you're just throwing them at the ground in front of them, and the dogs
the
just
sound of it just
take
spooks
off.
them easily. So.
But it's definitely an interesting way of life, and you adapt pretty quickly when you have to. So workplace is fun, can be frustrating, but also like they're so spontaneous with getting things done. To be honest, most of the time while working at Tonga, I actually had no idea what was going on. I would turn up to events early, sometimes finding out I was there on the wrong day or it had changed times, and some days I'd get dragged off to events in a faraway village where I'd listen to a few hours of talking in Tongan and then fed a huge feast. I would go along for the ride, and every now and then I would find myself shaking the hand of someone very important, like the PM of Tonga or greeting the king. You can never tell what a day in Tonga might bring.
Or the random public holidays. So
the public holidays.
Tonga wins the footy or something, the king will
Call
just say, okay, Monday, we're going to get rid of, what was it? Anzac Day.
Anzac Day,
it's no longer a public holiday, and we will now make this day a public holiday because we won the football this year.
Or flotillas, like they love flotillas. They'll shut the whole main parade of the city down, which stops like all the traffic getting from either side, and just have this like barrage of flotillas where they'll just dress it up red, everything, because that's Tonga's colour. Material, fabric, balloons, everything just hanging off these trucks.
Beeping their horns,
beeping their horns, and they'll put all these fine mats over the cars, even over the windows. They can't see anything. Like it's crazy. It is really fun. And like I remember we were filming one scene once for Umu at work, and I said, we'll get all the food or we'll get it all ready and then we'll film. Anyway, it got to like 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. I was like, this is not going to happen. Like nothing happens that late in the afternoon, let alone on a Friday in Tonga. And anyway, I come out and they've got the umu cooking, and I'm like, I thought we were going to film the intro, and they're like, we'll do that next week. We'll just have an umu now. So we're sitting there having beers, eating an umu, and that's, for me, that was like, yep, okay, well, we're having an umu. You can't fight it. You can't argue. Just shut up and have a beer, basically.
Shit, como ai plastiki kaya fi.
Well.
Recipe, button flap, chicken, onion, beef.
Yeah.
Nice.
Chibi?
And you just put it in the taro leaf. Coconut milk.
Đúng ạ. Ôi da, đi ạ.
How long?
Ai, dai mi avevo
Half hour.
Io avevo guai.
What's amazing, I think, is nothing happens on time. Well, Jesus Christ.
That was close.
Try that again. So, yeah, that's another thing you got to watch out for in Tonga is falling coconuts.
Coconuts. You can tell we're a bit touchy about that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's funny how things, you know, don't really happen. You know, say you'll have something on like Jesse Zuma at the end of work, you know, at home or in Australia, you'd be like, okay, you get up early, you start it, you get everything prepared, you organise it, and you know, in Tonga or most specific countries that we've been to, that just nothing happens, and then at the last minute, everyone just you know comes together and gets something done, and then what do they call it? It'll be right on the night.
Yeah, that's what Yacht says. That was from some frustrations of living in Tonga, or I think any Pacific island for that fact, is shopping. I freaking hate shopping in Tonga. It absolutely killed my passion for cooking.
I liked it. It was a challenge.
Yeah, well, you had all day.
I had all day, so I could, you know, if I wanted to cook something new that I'd learnt, it would probably have to go to about at least 10 shops on all sides of the island just to get the ingredients for one dinner. One supermarket that had almost everything was the whole supermarket was out of date.
Things we will miss? Things we'll miss in Tonga. What will you miss, Michael?
Well, obviously the diving. The relaxed lifestyle, the weather. Yeah, just the carefree nature and lifestyle that you have there. It's hard to beat. The community too that you form there, because everyone, you know, most of the expat community there is all, obviously, they're all away from their original home. So I think people band together a lot closer, and you have a much stronger sense of community, which is really cool. You know, yeah, you make some really good lifelong friends, and you know, you're both kind of exploring the place for yourself. You know, so it's great.
So things we'll miss in Tonga, the wild storms, they're awesome. Like, we got some absolute crackers while we were there, like floods, thunder, lightning. Luckily didn't get any hurricanes.
I won't miss those.
I'll miss those as well. Yeah, they were fun. I love sitting inside watching the storm. We were super lucky though, we didn't get any hurricanes, so that is something to take into consideration if you're moving there. They do have a wet and dry season. We got there, we were freezing. We couldn't find blankets.
Some nights got down to about 11 degrees Celsius, which was, you know, pretty
cool.
cold for tropical island status.
Yeah. And then super hot in summer too. It's quite humid at night. You want to have a fan going all the time. Power does cut out a bit. It's actually pretty good. We only had like 3 or 4 blackouts, I think, the whole time we were there. I'll miss the weekends away to deserted islands. Like, Tonga's the best setup. You've got Nuku'alofa, which is like pretty nice city, but you can go 10 minutes on a boat and you're at a deserted island. Like, you know, crystal clear water, white sandy beaches, palm trees, and you've got the whole place to yourself. Like, if you had your own boat there, it'd be so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but getting parts for it wouldn't be. What we'll definitely miss is our dogs. So you would have seen them in some of our videos already. We actually went home to catch up with family and friends. Our housemates went to a beach party, and when they got back, our dogs were gone. And they spent like, you know, weeks searching for them. I got back 5 days later, and like, it was horrible. I drove around for 5 days looking for the dogs. It is a fact of life. People do eat dogs in Tonga. Took us a while to sort of acknowledge that, but yeah, like, we're pretty...
Yeah, when the reality of it sunk in, that could have been a possibility. It was just completely heartbreaking, you know, like... We were on the fence about coming home to Australia already, but it was the dogs that were really keeping us there.
Yeah.
And once they went missing, it was just like, yeah, it was hard. It was hard to recover from that, really. And yeah, it definitely cemented our decision in wanting to come home and you know, just move on to the next chapter, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Yeah. So we do miss our little puppies, Pau and Akale. They were the best dogs we ever had.
Shake. Shake. Good boy. Buck. Good boy. Jump. Good boy. Again. Jump. Good boy. Sit.
And I think it is it is something that, you know, we found them on the side of the street. We gave them a really good 6 months. Like, they were the most spoiled dogs in Tonga, without a doubt.
And it was actually proven when we went back, probably
One of
2
our
months.
friends wanted a
Yeah,
dog,
one of
yeah.
our friends saw our dogs and said, "Oh, I'd love to get one as well." And we took them back to the house where we pulled these two from, and the only one that out of 10 I think that survived was there, and it was just terrified, skinny, ribs poking out, you know, wouldn't come near you. And you know, you just looked at what 2 months difference of a loved dog and an unloved dog.
That dog's like,
Unbelievable, you know. Look how much time they licked the tripod.
why are you licking my tripod? We want to take this opportunity to thank SPOR, a New Zealand-run animal aid organisation that does amazing work around the Pacific. It relies solely on donations and volunteers that run vital services such as desexing, parasite and vaccination programs, worming and humane education. Help them save lives and make a difference to animal welfare in the Pacific. As a small way of saying thank you, all the proceeds from our next video on Patreon will be donated directly to SPOR. If you'd like to make a one-off donation directly to SPOR, please find a link below.
Everyone in the house was devastated when the dogs went missing.
We left the gate open.
You know, let themselves in. The one thing that happens when you leave your gate open in Tonga, especially if you've got a nice lawn, is all the wild pigs come in and just tear the place to shreds. And there was this one pig, chorizo, that used to come in there, and eventually, you know, little by little, I gained his trust. He'd come and go as he pleased, and I actually taught him how to fist bump or snout bump for food, which was pretty cool.
Go again.
Chorizo.
Go again.
Chorizo. Come in.
Just wrapping up our time in Tonga, I think some of the biggest takeaways for me were like, just don't try to control every aspect of your life. You've just got to learn to go with the flow. Don't fight it, because you'll just go crazy trying to control everything. Yeah. What about you, Michael?
For me, I think I just saw how much awesome stuff there is to do, you know, just in that year in Tonga. And in one country, and I just thought of like how many other countries there are, and I just realised how little time, how much ocean there is to explore, and how little time we have. So definitely really cemented my direction, wanting to just explore as much as I can while I'm still, you know, fit and able, and have, you know, no mortgage, no kids, no commitments at all, really. Jess and I both really fell in love with the idea of sailing, just the fact that we could explore all these places, you know, on our own terms,
At
with
our own pace.
with like a floating base on the dive spot, you know, that really appealed to us. So that was another huge reason why we decided to leave Tonga, go home, you know, to Australia, where we could earn
Save
some
up
good
for
money
our own yacht.
and save up. And we're currently in the process of doing that. So
And hopefully next year you become full-time liveaboards
full-time
on a sailboat.
liveaboard sailors. So stay
All the
tuned
world.
there.
Yeah, more updates on that one later. I think, I'd probably want to just thank Tonga and Soph and Pat for reigniting our passion for sailing. We talked about it years ago when we first met about sailing the world, but it always seemed like such a faraway dream and something really
It's
hard to achieve. But
Very daunting thought, really, to give up everything and move on board a sailboat. But when we saw Pat and Soph doing it,
and we met so many other people doing it as well.
you know,
It's just
especially
like,
people as well that have very little sailing experience going and doing that. It just, it gave us a lot of confidence to pursue that dream yeah, we're nearly there. So
yeah, I think that's us. Thanks
that,
for watching.
Yeah, that's been 12 months of Tonga.
We hope you enjoyed it.
And we'd like to just do a special thanks to all the patrons that really, showed their support and kept us excited about making episodes and bringing them to you.
Yep.
Thanks so much to the following people that have supported us over the last 12 months.
Thank you, Justine. You're our first patron ever on board.
Cheers, Jussie.
James, Duncan, Liata from Samoa, Kurt and Josh from Texas, Yvonne, Patrick,
Pat and Soph.
James,
thank you.
Chi, Tippy.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one. What happened before, Michael?
Our old mate here in front just kind of looked like he was pulling over to let me go around, and as I went around he pulled out again, almost crashed into us. The standard Tongan driving experience. I think you just got to pretend that everyone's going to crash into you and you'll be alright. Jess, Mako!
Thanks for joining us on our 12-month volunteer journey through Tonga. If you'd like to ask us anything about living in Tonga, please feel free to comment below. And if you would like to support our productions, check out the link to Patreon. We hope you join us for our next adventures down under in our home of Australia. What's happening? What are you doing?
Just a pre-dive. Pre-dive. It's not that.
Alright, let's go, come on. Running out of light. I think they're tired. At the time of releasing this video, our island home copped a direct hit from Category 4 cyclone named Gita. The damage was heartbreaking, but in true Tongan spirit, everyone is already working on the cleanup and rebuilding houses. Many people will need our help. If you've liked our videos and enjoyed our time in Tonga and you want to help restore this beautiful place, you can donate directly to the Red Cross Appeal for Cyclone Gita. You'll find a link in the video description below.